Hey guys, SoCal Val here. You are listening to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
Welcome everybody back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. I am your host, Adam Cousins. Unfortunately, our host, Andy Burrows, was meant to be joining us today, but he seems to be liking accidents at the minute. He's had another accident at work today. As the people that watch this podcast will know, he works delivering beer to the UK, which is like delivering pizza to Italy. Needs to be done, otherwise there'll be riots. Fortunately, he's had an accident at work and he would not pass concussion protocol to get on this show today. Never fear, I'm not alone. I've brought my good friend and buddy, Dave Robinson, over to the show. Dave, how are you?
Hey, mate. Really good, yeah. Best wishes go out to Andy. Hope you get well soon, buddy. But I was happy to tag in on this occasion to talk some women's wrestling tonight.
Absolutely. And we're talking women's wrestling with one of the greatest trailblazers of the women's wrestling and women's division that's ever been a championship holder wherever she's gone. And like I said with Melina before, she's had the Hall of Fame career without the actual accolade, which is absolutely shocking in my opinion. But welcome to the show. The artist formerly known as Victoria Tara, Lisa Marie Varon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate being here. Yes, yeah. I actually just talked to Melina. We talk every day. So I just said, hey, I'm doing my face. I'll audio message you when I'm done. Yes, I didn't know she was on the show.
Yeah, she come on just before WrestleMania.
Okay. I love her. Yeah. She's my sister.
Yeah. She was great. Yeah. And thank you, obviously, for taking time out of your day for coming on, Lisa. We very much appreciate it over here. This podcast is all about women's wrestling today. First question is more about the now. What's your feelings on women's wrestling in 2023, how it's presented? Do you feel as if it's come up a long way since the last even decade or so?
Unbelievable. The talent they have. I mean, for girls to get into the big stage now, you got to bring it. These girls can run circles around me. I work very slow and methodical and more stalking and, big moves, stop. That's it. You know what I mean? And they're just doing so much, and their athleticism is just exceeded and excelled. Like, it's unbelievable. I feel like I'm very proud. And a lot of people are like, oh, aren't you upset it wasn't like that back in the day, like main eventing all the time? I'm like, no, not at all. I go, you're proud because you were part, even though you're retired from the in-ring, you're still part of wrestling. I'm sorry, there's no such thing as retirement. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm very proud of what they do. Unbelievable. It's scary to watch, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, funny enough, I was in the Twitter conversation today and they were saying, oh, there was a dirt sheet that said the WWE higher-ups were high on the Rhea Ripley-Natalia match from Raw on Monday. And I was like, well, it's amazing when you actually give these world-class athletes a bit of time, to present the story, what they can actually do. Because that match was probably match of the night on Raw this week. It was fantastic.
Yeah. We were used to, like, back in the days, like, up at Gorilla, and right before going out, we would have like 9 minutes. And then we get to the Gorilla and they're like, cut it down to 6. And then that's when you can kind of tell when we're going to get cut down. For my generation, we would walk quicker to the ring. I would always always volunteer. You don't need to get my entrance in. I don't need my entrance. And I want to get to the match. You know what I mean? But then, of course, later on, they're like, your entrance is part of the whole shabam too. So, but, I was willing to sacrifice my entrance to have more time in the ring, do a showcase, Yeah, but we were so used to it. It was like, I think we always prepared for it anyways, and it's not them going, oh, let's have a shorter women's wrestling match. It's the other wrestlers, you have to keep time cues. Some of them don't pay attention to what the ref is saying. And so it bleeds into our time. And then, of course, like us girls, we would never go over because God forbid us go into Undertaker's time, for the main eventer. You know what I mean? Yeah. That fear was in there. Yeah.
Lisa, obviously, like Adam says, on Raw this past week, Natalia and Rhea Ripley had a great match. At Money in the Bank, the best match for me was the women's ladder match. I thought it was absolutely awesome. I'm just interested to hear your take from. Did you always feel that the women had that potential that they could if given the time, if given the opportunity, if given those type of matches, that they could knock it out of the park, as they've been doing so for so long now.
Absolutely. And, back in our day, we were able to work that way too, because Fit Finley had a lot of belief, in us. You know what I mean? He made us tough as nails. And, Trish and I had hardcore match, first hardcore match. Then we had a street fight. And then I had a cage fight against Lita. And I was getting all the dangerous matches. And, people are like, weren't you excited to get those? Not really. I'll be honest with you. Those are like high risk matches, and they can shorten your career, And I'm good old fashioned grappler, and like, let's show our power moves. Just have psychology in there, and the fear of going into those kind of matches, you're about to puke, and you're just, please God, no one gets seriously hurt, because you don't want to cut into someone's career. You know what I mean? Or shorten, or they get out in an injury and off TV and stuff like that. But those are terrifying. And I knew, back in our day, anybody was great and good enough to do those matches. But, these days, it's kind of expected, because these girls are so good out there. I mean, unbelievable. And Natalya, she can run circles. She can make a broomstick look good. That's the old saying.
Yeah,
you can wrestle a broomstick and make an exciting match. That's Natty.
Do you think Natalya's a bit underrated? Because obviously the fans know how good she is, and she's been put in some prominent positions. She's had title runs, but she just seems to be so well respected from the other wrestlers, not just women wrestlers. All wrestlers seem to really respect Natalya and what she's done in the business.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's amazing. And I think the longevity of how long I was there and how long Natty was there, we were really good at working with rookies and leading the match, that kind of thing. And it was kind of like, you don't have anything to worry about getting in the ring with Natty. You know what I mean? You're like, you don't have any nerves. Like, well, of course you have nerves. That's normal, because you care. But, you're in there with Natty, you're going to have a great match. And, she knows what, I don't think she's upset about being underrated or anything. A lot of people are like, man, you should have got more, you lost a lot of matches. I'm like, well, I was the heel. I worked with the rookies. I was there to put them over. You know what I mean? It's something that you don't complain about. That's your job. You got to remember, this is entertainment. This is not MMA, where, I'm really fighting for the championship. You're fighting for the spot on TV. You know what I mean? Of course you want the championship belt, but, being on TV more often was more of a pat on the back, being in the business. Yeah. So she's amazing. Amazing. She's my favorite.
We love
one of your rivals, and somebody that you'll always be linked with, Lisa, is Trish Stratus. And obviously Trish is back doing her thing at the minute on a real great run. And she's working, as you say, working with some of the younger talents. She's working with Zoe Stark. What do you think of Trish's run? And what can you say about Trish Stratus?
I'll be honest with you, I only see bits and pieces on social media.
Cool.
Just because, we have our GAW TV show, YouTube, and we try to film twice a week, and then adulting. And then I'm doing appearances at Comic-Cons, WrestleCons, festivals, and stuff like that. And it's hard to squeeze time to watch wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, there's so many shows. I just went to an AEW show a couple weeks ago, my first one, and Sarah Stock got me a ticket.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh, you're coming backstage." And I go, "Wait, I came to watch in the crowd. I wanted to watch as a fan and shows my support." Of course, I didn't want to be recognized. Wore black, and just I sat on the second tier. And, I still am a mark for wrestling, and I still react just as much as fans do, even more. Tommy Dreamer makes fun of Funaki and myself watching it backstage, and we're like, "Oh my God. Oh my God." And so I was reacting on some of the moves on AEW, and the guy next to me goes, "Is this your first wrestling match you ever watched?" And I was like, man, did I make an impact in my career? You know what I mean? I'm like, no, I just, it's so dangerous what they're doing, and taking bumps on the apron when there's no cushion. It was just so much high flying and suicide dives, just incredible moves, but scary to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's changed. Wrestling has changed. It's really difficult for me to watch now, because it's so much action, from start to the end. Not start of a match, start the first match, you're doing flying, you're doing suicides, And back in our day, like our first match, we don't go into the floor. We let the matches build, and then to get more dangerous. And let what's the main event going to have to do? Hang themselves on the rope to get a reaction. These fans are so spoiled, and and it was exciting. And then after the first show of AEW, I went backstage to say hello to everybody, and then she goes, "Are you going to go watch the second show?" I go, "Second show? What? There's two shows?" Because we usually do four, and I go, "What? No way!" And I go, "No, I'm an old timer." I go, it's late, and I go to bed super early. I changed, honestly. I used to be able to stay up late, and I'm 52, and just like I'm ready, like I'm in my muumuu, no makeup. Like this takes work, you guys. This is why podcasts, like with podcasts for women, it's not just going, oh, it's just 30 minutes. No, it's it takes me an hour and a half because I coffee up, make sure all my lighting's set up and my background's okay, my kitchen's clean. You know what I mean? Make sure this is okay. And I had a cute top, but it was long sleeve, and I don't have air conditioning or a heater in my apartment in San Diego. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to wear my short sleeves. It's too hot in here. But it was exciting to like. I like watching it live. TV, it's difficult because all the commercials, all the breaks, and all the promos. You just want to see the action. I'm just as bad as fans. I want to just see the wrestling match. You know what I mean? But of course, we have promos, to set up the storyline. But yeah.
Do you, Lisa? Do you think that would something that Sarah does, Sarah Stock, obviously working with AEW backstage, putting matches together and helping with the training, yourself talking about psychology and telling stories to go in with these great moves that the performers have got? Is that something that interests you? If that possibility came along, would you be interested?
I would definitely. Yeah. That would be a dream job for me. I think I have a lot of knowledge about it, especially with psychology and making every move count, every even if it's just a body slam, to make it more of a reaction than what it's and how to work the TV camera opposed to just a live event, a live show without the cameras. And I would jump on. I definitely would. Like, I don't need the limelight anymore. I'll be honest with you. To go back and have a match, and people ask me, "Do you want to come back and wrestle?" No, I'm 52. My body hurts, man. You got to see me waking up in the morning, the creaks and the cracks. I didn't know my body could make those sounds. But I like, it's if you're helping somebody else out and they're listening to you, that's like you being in the match. Do you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
yeah. I don't need to get my shit in anymore.
Yeah. Well, for me, Lisa, from a fan growing up, really during the Attitude Era, and the women's wrestling back then was presented very differently to how it is now. I'm glad that we get what we do now and not what we got then, to be honest with you. But you were first Adam called you a trailblazer. And that's so right. The likes of yourself, Trish Stratus, Lita, Ivory, you guys really kind of brought about change way before the women's revolution started, and all the work you did with TNA as well. We had Angelina Love on a few weeks ago, and some of the matches you guys had during that golden period of TNA as well. I think
it was crazy. Like when I went to TNA, we didn't have time cues. When I got there, I don't know if they just trusted me. I don't know, but I remember going, I said, "Hey, what do you want from this match? My first match." "You do what you do." And I'm like, "Wait a minute. Is this story going to continue on, or are we doing an angle? Like, I need to know how to put this match together to see if we're having a long, like, couple month reign. You know what I mean?" But we were like in TNA, we were free to do. Sorry, get my straw. But we were free to do. We didn't really have to ask a lot of questions, but I still needed the agent's input because I'm like, did you watch the match? What could I feed off negativity, not constructive criticism. I don't like to come back and they go, "That was a great match." No, it wasn't. I know my clothesline didn't hit her in the right spot. Like, I know what I did wrong. You know what I mean? And so, you feed off getting better and better and better. And your question about trailblazer, my generation, man, like when people ask me who my favorite wrestlers to work with, I can't pick just one. Because everybody had a different style. Molly was more of a ground, like just a grappler, and Gail was a flyer. ODB and I and Mickey James and I would get in there, and it wasn't. They were serious matches, but there was a lot of times you guys didn't see. Thank God for long hair. That where we would giggle. and try to break character. And those are the fun matches when you try to like, I'm gonna try to make her laugh. Like when we lock up, I'm gonna say something ridiculous. You know what I mean? Even though we are still taking it serious.
Yeah.
But there's some people you can work with and just go out there and call a match. We didn't really, we didn't do A to Z the match. You know what I mean? Like we're like, I'm gonna do this move and then go to this corner. We didn't work that way. We talked a lot in the ring, and improv was a lot, and calling the matches. And I would not be able to memorize a match with my memory, and not just from the bumps or anything like that. For the heel, you got to listen to the crowd, and if they're not freaking getting with the match, you need to go, oh man, they're not booing me. And I'm like, I'll lay them down and I'm like, cover your face because I'm going nuts. You know what I mean? And I don't want to really tag him in the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So trying to get the fans to go, get off, open your fist. That's illegal. Watch the hair, that kind of thing. My job is to get them to boo me. So you need to like organically listen to the fans. You don't just go through the moves. You got to feed off the feeling and the emotions of what the fans are feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't want them to dictate your match. You dictate what there should be feeling.
You say you had more kind of more chance in TNA to kind of do that rather than in the WWE. What percentage did you have to kind of follow a formula? How much could you put in of your own?
No, we didn't have to like, hey, can I do this move? Can I do this move? Can I do this move? We had time cues, and we were responsible watching other matches. Like, if the match before us worked the leg, oh shit, they just worked the leg.
Okay.
We need to change it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you have like 5 minutes to change it up. Forget it. I'm gonna work your back, or I'm gonna work your arm, or whatever, your neck, or something like that. You know what I mean? But we would go, if we saw a moonsault the match before us, we're not gonna do a moonsault. Do you know what I mean? You got to have different moves. And I do think, I'm not saying that our generation was better or anything like that. I'm not being pompous or anything like that. I don't think people are watching the matches before, because I did notice when I watch, there's way too many chops, dude.
Yep.
There's the chops, and people stop wooing by the sixth match and they're doing chops. And I'm like, man, there should be it's getting that cheap woo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People are programmed to do that, and just try to be like a little bit unique, which is hard to do because everybody does everybody's moves now, right?
Yeah.
So but I feel like our job was to find out, like, for fifth match, hey, what body part you working? What body part you working? What body part are you hitting this move? Are you doing a moonsault? Like, because that's so common now, you know what I mean? But like, okay, then I can do this move. You know what I mean? So
it's interesting that you say that, because as fans as well, we see a lot of super kicks, and then it's a lot of pile drivers. And for me, it does lose that the move does lose its effect,
impact. Yes, and back in our day, I hate saying that because it ages me, but back in our day, those were finishes, and it does bother me when I see someone kick out so soon and they're up and running the ropes or something like that. You need to freaking sell that move. That you're kind of shitting on what it's the impact of it, because like in reality, if you do land on your top of your head, you should be, not be able to stand on your feet. Do you know what I mean? And being a little jarred or concussed, like delivering beer.
Yes, Andy. Speaking of Andy, I best get his question in, otherwise he's going to kill me. Basically, you've kind of already answered the second part of the question, was would you ever go back to kind of like Impact, but you probably wouldn't now as a wrestler, because you've already kind of said that bit. But he sort of said, talk to us about the fun that you had in Impact Wrestling, or it's TNA as it was back then.
I had fun at both.
Yeah.
Both, honestly. It was easier to have more fun at TNA just because we only worked 1 week in a month.
Yeah.
And we were allowed to do indies. So, but on WWE, you're 4 days a week, every single weekend, right? Yep. The live shows, Velocity, Sunday Night Heat, Raw, SmackDown, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And maybe a pay-per-view. And so you're on the road, and you're exhausted. And there was a lot of ribbing. I was queen of ribbing people. So like, I like, you're on the road, you got to pop each other and pop yourself. And I didn't care if anybody laughed. It made me laugh. But when I went to TNA, was very more lenient, just because they just work once a month. And so their body's pretty healthy unless they just did an indie show, the week before and stuff like that. But, you know, I remember going to table and going, hi, my name's Lisa. Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm new here, that kind of thing. And Christopher Daniels goes, Lisa, or Victoria. I don't know what the hell he called me. Sis, you don't have to do that here. And I'm like, I'm just being polite. You should do this common courtesy in any job. You know what I mean? So then I would go to the caterer and go, hi guys, yay, let's have a killer show, that kind of thing. You don't have to go if you get heat for not saying hi to a certain person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was just a week and a half ago at ODB's wedding. I was the maid of honor. Gail Kim was there, Mickey James. And if you watch our GOT TV today, it's at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do have pictures from the wedding.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, okay. But she had normal friends, that's what she called them, normies, and then the wrestling crew. You know what I mean? But she had a lot. It was a reunion for TNA. Scott Demore. Oh my gosh, it was Giselle, Rebel. Oh my gosh, Frankie Kazarian, Chavo. It was just all of our old, Nick Aldis, like all of our friends, and just Candace was there. And I think it's safe to say, like, too, you work with each other more so that you see your family.
Yeah.
So your family is freaking wrestlers, and you're never, like, people are like, do you keep in contact with anybody? And I go, yes. They're like, oh, like who? I'm like, I can't even give you the list because I keep in touch with a lot of people. You know what I mean? Because, my whole adulthood was with these people. They know more about me than I know myself, but it was so much fun. Like it's different now. Like when we used to do shows, we're like, hey, are you guys going to Ale House afterwards? We would all go to the same restaurant and with the fans. And that was part of the bonding, is having, a couple drinks, beers, and, shooting the shit and just catching up with everybody and, ribbing each other, just laughing and getting to know your freaking opponent. And I did notice when I went back to WWE and I go, where's everybody going? And it was only us old school people that went to a bar. Shane McMahon, Ric Flair, Mickey, myself, Hurricane, and there was a couple more, but it was just us old school in the lobby. And that was my favorite part about wrestling, is going to hang out and, like, laughing, or like, oh my God, did you see what I did out there in the ring? I go, oh my God, I can't believe I screwed up that bad. Or we really don't not necessarily talk about wrestling, but remember last week, like just old times and like, that kind of stuff. And it's lacking OVW, and her and I did back. We were opposite. We're like, where's everybody going? And most of them said, I got to go hit the gym. It's a 24-hour gym. And I'm like, what? And then ODB and I were the only ones that went to a bar, and with there was no one there. It was incredible. I was just like, what the hell is happening? I'm like, this was part of the bonding experience, and where it changed. It's not like we're going out to get freaking drunk, you know what I mean? But just to go shoot the shit and have a, appetizer, have a couple beers, before we head out the next day and get to know the new talent. And I was like, wow, we're the only girls. Oh my God, we're such grizzle vets. Oh my gosh,
Where
I had a blast.
What does everybody else do now then? If those younger wrestlers aren't doing those things that you guys were doing, and obviously really benefit in terms of bonding, computer games. Okay. Phones and computer games.
Yeah, we didn't have video games, and that was like, there was a crew in TNA that they went back to the room and played video games and stuff like that. We didn't do that much. We didn't have social media like it is now today. I mean, I think it's a kind of toxic a little bit, even though that's our job. And I'm like, it's get you in trouble, or you might say something incorrect, or I do voice to text and I forget about my grammar. I forgot to put periods. Like, oh my gosh, did you go to college? Actually, yes, I was pre-med. Yes, I did. I went to UCLA and I went to a private college. Yes, but like I'm not on the phone very much, and I think it's a distraction. But I don't know. And also too, back in our day too, God, back in our day, we weren't allowed to really date each other. It wasn't really encouraged.
Yeah.
Some people did, but they would go back to with their boyfriends and just go back to the room or go eat together, that kind of thing. And I don't know what they do. Honestly, I was asking Gail, I go, do you want to come back? She goes, if I would have known you were at that hotel, I would have stayed at that hotel. When I went back to watch Mickey thinking that she was retiring, I didn't even know she was not retiring. I told him not to tell me the storyline. And I was crying because I was like, oh my God, this is her last match. She won. And I go, I thought you were retiring. And, oh my God. Oh my God. I fell for it. And Gail was like, we could have just, we used to like, this was very common too. It's just to go into each other's room and drink wine and just, play cards, or like, we didn't really play cards. The guys did mostly, but just shoot the shit and hang out in someone's room, the guys and the girls. And then we would separate and go back to our own rooms. You know what I mean? Of course, those girls always shared, but that was very common, is to get, hey, go, can you bring some potato chips and I got wine, I got vodka, you bring soda pop, like, and have a little bit of a slumber party.
Yeah.
I said that. Jeez, I'm old, you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I got a quick question before we start wrapping up, because I appreciate the time. We done a top 10. We do a top 10 show on here every week or two. Okay. We just recently done one called Top 10 Finishers, and I put the Widow's Peak at 7. I thought, because
7.
Hang on, Dave, you didn't have it in your top 10, so don't even go there. So don't go there. Yeah, don't even go. No, but what I like about it the most is women's sort of wrestling at that time. It was kind of totally different, because when I say a finisher, you mentioned it earlier. Finisher, it needs to boom.
That's it.
Yeah.
The Widow's Peak was definitely
can I tell you
not many
about
people.
My finisher?
Yes.
My finisher. Molly Holly saw Roderick Strong do it at an indie show, and I think he was 14 or 16 years old, and he made up the move.
Oh,
and then Molly Holly goes, and she comes back. She goes, Victoria, I have a finisher for you. She goes, okay, pull me up over your shoulder, hook my neck. She's walking me through this. Okay, drop down to your butt. And I go, are you, she doesn't cuss. So I'm like, are you freaking kissing? You're kidding me? You kidding me? So we dropped, and people saw it. And they were like, ugh. And then Molly goes, do you guys like that for Victoria's finish? And they're like, are you okay? She goes, yeah, but do you like it for her? And they were like, yeah. The first person to take it was Stacy. And every time someone mentions my Widow's Peak, Roderick Strong put me on the map. And I met him at a hotel waiting for me at the lobby with his dad. Couldn't drive yet. And he goes, Victoria. I go, yeah. You know how there's like fans waiting at hotels.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah. What's going on, buddy? And he's like, I was the one that came up with Widow's Peak. And I go, oh my God, come here. Give me a hug. I go, you made me. You made Victoria. You made Victoria. And, Molly Holly's known as being so giving in the ring, almost to a fault, like I was. I was always told I give too much to the baby face and I need to look stronger. But that's why I had a lot of matches with a lot of people, because they were like, no, I want to wrestle Victoria. I wasn't very selfish. Yeah. And but I just saw him at AEW, and he goes, hey, oh my God. I go, do you see me tweet about you all the time? People say about my finish. And he's like, yeah. He goes, thank you. And I go, I always thank you, because it wasn't my move. We all steal from each other, not steal, borrow, whatever, but so when I went to this, I went to First Wrestling in Minnesota this weekend, and someone said, I use your spinning spider web move. And it's that spinning sidewalk slam. I got it. Crash Holly taught me that. Oh, and I was like, I'm shocked. That's such a freaking cool move. The girls love taking it. It's like a fun move. And, and she goes, I did that on one of the shows. And I'm like, thank you. Someone took it. Thank you. I think Bailey did it on TV once. And she told the commentator, can you mention Victoria? Because I took it from Victoria, that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, that's very sweet. But finishers are not finishers anymore, man. Just like you said, pile drivers.
I can't remember too many people kicking out the Widow's Peak. I think that was a pretty well protected move.
Not yet. Give it a year. Give it a year. I don't know. It might be just a hope spot or the cutoff spot before the heat.
Lisa, I've got to ask you one last question, if you don't mind. I want to be respectful of your time.
Not at all.
Obviously, now women's wrestling is presented in the same tier as men's wrestling, and I absolutely love that. We spoke about money in the bank. in Impact a couple of years ago, Tessa Blanchard won the world title, and there was a lot more like intergender wrestling. And I've noticed that on the UK scene, there's a lot of guys versus girls in one-on-one matches. That's not something that I see the WWE ever do, or some of the mainstream companies. Have you got any thoughts on that? Is that something that you ever wanted to do?
Absolutely. At the beginning, I was trained old school way, OVW, UPW, MCW. You know, one with Rick Bassman's school. The second one was Memphis, Jerry Lawler's school. The third was Danny Davis, Jim Cornette school and OVW, right? And I was with really freaking good talent at my schools. They all made it. And you know, you don't know who everybody is. I was so green. And about the intergender, I was so trained. Like I remember I took a Stevie kick, which was a super kick from Stevie. I didn't sell it long enough. I was supposed to stay down. I did not know. And I was so green. I remember coming back and I got heat. Not heat. You need to fucking stay. They didn't say that word to me, but you need to stay down. When a guy hits you, you stay down. So for me at the beginning, watching intergender matches, I was like, if a guy punches you in the face, they have higher testosterone. It's genetics. You know, I'm not saying that girls are not tough enough at all. I'm not saying that at all. And it took me a while to accept it. You know, I still see, you know, I saw when Mickey James did a tag match against Bubba and Bubba was beating the crap out of her. I'm like going, oh my God, this never would have happened back in our day. You know what I mean? But I understand the change of times, equal opportunity. Girls are just as good as boys, that kind of stuff. But at the beginning, it was hard for me. I never chimed in on that because I thought the girls were like, F her. What, she doesn't think we can handle guys? You know, that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But I trained with guys. There was hardly any girls in our school.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And the guys, like all my cool moves I can do, they were so jacked and freaking strong as hell. I can do anything. I can stand up like on their shoulders. They got me. You know what I mean? And they can make you look really good. And that's what also being a strong base, you can make any move look incredible, right? But I'm all for it. It does. There's sometimes I do cringe about the punching in the face, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just because you remember like when WWE was like, you know, ease off on manhandling the girls just because the domestic abuse and stuff like that. That was ingrained in our head too. So we had to back off on that. You know, we weren't allowed to get hit by them. They can pull our hair and like that kind of stuff, you know. And but you know,
it's a really difficult
I'm also
thing
like
to navigate.
Transgenders being female, they're females now and being in the women's league. I'm all for that. I'm very LGBTQ. God bless. I can never get that. That's a tongue tie. But I'm all for that, and I'm all for it. You know what I mean? Times have changed, and people need to be open minded now.
Yeah.
You know, not be so 1950s freaking back in that era and that generation.
Yeah.
Like, stop being like so judgmental and what the hell is that? And just like, have you looked in the mirror, dude? You know, you can't go out there in the ring and do that. You know what I mean? But
I can imagine it's a difficult subject to kind of navigate. But if the story is right and if people like you are helping out with those stories and the psychology, then it can only be a good thing for wrestling.
Yes, exactly. And it's crazy to hear like the stories that you hear, like when you hear it through your friends or on the internet, like what happened at WrestleCon, like someone getting bullied or something like that, just for their sexual preference and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, do these people live in a rock? Do they not watch TV? Like, you know, I do my favorite convention to do every year, besides Monopoly, cheap plug.
Nice.
It's RuPaul's DragCon. I
Oh,
don't go there to make money at all. They are so open arms and just it's a party atmosphere and everybody's just introducing themselves, and it's more of I don't care what you do, I love you for you. And you know, I don't make money because I don't stay at my booth very much because I'm just so intrigued by just all the makeup and just how beautiful people are and just the positivity. And I go watch the DJ and I mark out a little bit just because, you know, and try to get a lot of pictures because SoCal Val is a big drag queen fan. So I was trying to make her jealous by taking pictures with them. But shame on you for not being open arms. And, I don't know, like if the old school wrestlers, like the old, not my generation, but the old schools, like, they're wrestling fans there too. Would they be comfortable? I don't know. And I'd be worried to see, I don't know how, I don't know. I'm very protective of people I love, that kind of thing. But the intergenders, I'm all for it now. At the beginning, it was tough.
Yeah.
As I was brainwashed. I was not, brainwashed. That's a bad word.
Yeah.
I was trained that.
Conditioned. Yeah.
I was conditioned. Thank you. Yes.
No worries.
Yes. Conditioned to know, like, when a guy hits you, you stay down and sell.
Yeah.
You're out. Yeah.
Last question before
let's do another.
Last question. I mentioned at the start of the show, Hall of Famer without the accolade. If that call comes, are you accepting it? And so it may sound stupid, but of course she's going to. But
absolutely, are you kidding me? And I feel about that Hall of Fame thing. You, like, every appearance. Why aren't you in the Hall of Fame? Why aren't you in the Hall of Fame? It's not like we pick up the phone and say, "I want to be in the Hall of Fame."
That's it.
Yeah.
It's like you try to. It's not like pitching a storyline about yourself. It's when it means a lot coming from the fans. When the company wants to induct me, if it happens, I don't know. Of course, it's a.
I'm sure it will. Yeah,
and I
absolutely.
did a good job. I did a good job doing it. You know what I mean? And I still love the business. I have nothing naughty or bad to say about any company I work with. The opportunity that I had, I'm so politically correct right here. No, honestly, I got to see the world. I'm still making money off wrestling, Comic Cons, all that kind of stuff. I can never shit where I made money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They feed me. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of, like, when I do some of the Comic Cons and you're sitting by somebody and they're bearing the business. I'm like, and I'll look at the banner. I go, I want to say, but of course I'm too nice. Look at your banner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're shitting on the company that put you over. You know what I mean? And shame on people for doing that. And of course, we all wanted longer storylines, and sometimes, like, darn, I wish I won that match or that kind of stuff. And that happens, like, but you don't take it to heart. You do have to have thick skin, which I do not. I was always super sensitive. I always, like, Tommy, I'm on top 5 crazy list of his top 5 with Iron Sheik. Yes. And I think I surpassed Iron Sheik. And because every night I come back from a match, am I getting fired? Am I getting fired?
Yeah.
Because, the gorilla, when you go to the gorilla, you just want that good match, or they acknowledge you to come back and you're like, oh no, they did acknowledge me. Oh no, but they have the other match to call, right? Or watch and get the camera angles, right? Yeah. But I read into it so much, and I was like, and I was not a perfectionist. I never thought I had a good match. Isn't that nuts? Never thought I had a good match.
Well, you certainly did.
So that was okay. That was okay. I could have done this better, and I think being humble is lacking today too. Is you want to go to the legends, you want to go to the people that's been in the business, go to Ricky Steamboat, Arn Anderson, Fit Finlay, Regal, like, hey, did you watch my match? No. Okay, it's okay. I know you had to do something else, but could you give me feedback and be brutally honest? I need to know what I need to fix. You know what I mean? Because there's no such thing as a perfect match. You go out, we're human, we make mistakes. We have one shot to get it right. We don't get a retake. And I think the fans should know, like, to be gentle, like, I don't know if they still do it. You effed up, Matt, Chance. Do they still do that?
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Yeah. I hate that, because you get in the ring and do what we're doing and get one chance to do it. And keep in mind, there's sweat on the apron. There's oil on the ropes, and having to work the camera, making sure your hair's out of your face so you can sell and see your face, and then making every move, and then making sure you guys are both on the same page, and listening to the fans, making sure they're booing and yaying, like, cheering the baby face, and all that, and trying to put psychology. There's a lot. It's not like a script. We don't get a script, man. You know what I mean? In promos, you get bullet points. We don't. You're not told what to say. Just make sure you plug in this date, the pay-per-view. You know what I mean? But that chant always broke my heart. And then, of course, you go back and say, don't listen to them. it's hard not to, because
Yeah.
that you feed up, like they say, you get 5 positive responses. That one negative remark gets under your skin. And so, fans, be gentle. Like, we're human. We make mistakes. There's no such thing as a perfect match. And we want you to be entertained. And, we flub all the time, and
Yeah.
it's the expert part is trying to cover up that flub if you
Yeah.
if you can, you know what I mean? But but
Well,
yeah,
we certainly echo that message on the podcast. We always try and be positive about wrestling. It's a sport that we love. It's a form of entertainment that we love. So we don't understand a lot of the dirt sheets that will just be like shitting on stuff. And it's easier
and
just to be nice about it and focus on the positives.
and the reason why I went to Podstars was there was one interview I did, I don't remember how many months ago, and it was all clickbaits.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I read it and I go, they tagged me. I go, I never said that. I never said that. And I was like so upset because other people are going to read it and like judge you and stuff like that. And I never bash what the hell's going on. You know what I mean? I try to be supportive, and I was in the business. Why would I shit on it? You know what I mean? And I was like, could you? There, I just asked them, Michael, could you look at some of their titles on their tagging and stuff like that?
Yeah.
If they're going to do something really negative, I'm not reposting it and sharing them. If they're looking for followers or more subscribers, like, we all need subscribers on YouTube and on our shows, because that's income. We're on God TV show, YouTube, and that's, we're not making millions of dollars, but we would like to. But it's like trying to be supportive. And I'm like, if you're looking for me to help you get more subscriptions, I'm not reposting it. I'm not gonna tell my friends, please don't repost this. Don't even watch it. Don't, like, I don't want the viewership to be on there. You know what I mean? And us wrestlers, we talk. How was that interview? Were they really disrespectful? We talk.
We've had that a few times, haven't we, Ad?
Yeah, we've had quite a few of them. It said that we've had quite a lot of people on, and we've always we said it to you before.
Yeah.
We just talk wrestling. That's all we do. And we've had that feedback. They said, "Well, I'm coming on because I spoke to so and so, and they said that you guys were good, so I'm coming on."
Yes, we recommend. Yes, absolutely. It's we got to watch each other's back. It's a family, right?
You totally have to. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. As we're finishing up now, Lisa, can you just plug your stuff now? Where are you doing? Where can they get hold of you? What have you got going on? So we can finish.
Okay, absolutely. You can follow me on IG, Twitter. I have it TikTok now. This is too much social media for me. I have a Facebook. I got really Lisa Marie on my Facebook. I'm not sure exactly what my link is on that. I have a fan page and a personal one, but became a fan page. So I did that personal one, didn't follow my family, but then didn't happen, and you can watch us youtube.com/GodTV show. It's grown ass women talking nonsense with SoCal Val, Mickey James, myself, and we always have a guest. But today, this is probably going to air afterwards, but we occasionally try to do all 3 of us, just because, so we can not plug in everybody else's shit. So we can kind of go, let's have this. This is what our show was supposed to be about. It's like us drinking wine. Yeah. And then talking about good times and getting goofy and that kind of stuff. So, and then dressing in pajamas, and it's unfiltered. And so, just in my appearances, I post them on my social media. So just follow that. I don't really have I think I need to have somebody build she'll be here. She'll be here. She'll be here on the state. Yeah. So I'm excited though. Yeah. I love my Comic-Cons and I love my appearances, and not burn out yet. You know what I mean? So you never know.
Hopefully you'll be over to the UK soon, Lisa.
I hope so too. I did get a text message today. I want to talk about couple people asked about overseas, and I'm like, oh, I hope it's Monopoly. You know what I mean? So
they funny enough, they did ask me for content, not yours, unfortunately, but someone else's. But if they do, I'll send them your way. So don't worry.
Plug me in, man. I love Monopoly.
I'll let them know after this, because we've had them on the show before, and they do for the love of wrestling. So
they're wonderful.
So
they're wonderful. Guys, and then thank you so much. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you.
Do you want me to do a one-liner? Like, just say, hey guys, I'll be on. Okay, what is it called?
That'd be great,
Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
Say it again.
Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
Hitting the top turnbuckle.
Oh, hitting the turnbuckle.
Oh, turnbuckle
Yeah.
podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
Hey guys, this is Lisa Marie Varon, formerly known as Victoria in WWE, formerly known as Impact Wrestling Tara, and you are watching Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. And if you're not subscribed, shame on you. I will widow's peak your butt.
Wow. And there you
subscribe today.
There you go.
That was awesome. Thank you, Lisa.